they are, and anything can happen once they get on the field.
The team's captains now ready to meet in the middle of the field. Our officials for this one today in the Class 3 championship, referee Rick Williams. The umpire is Mark Becker. We're glad Mark's here today. A little work injury, but he's able to strap it up here on game day, get ready to go and wear the stripes. Patrick Carda is the linesman, Don Backfish the line judge, and the back judge today is Jimmy Smith, and we congratulate our officials for being selected for their great work over the course of the season, and they represent very well here today in Columbia. They'll handle the coin toss now as we look down from our camera position. A lot of green we joked about in the open today. Maryville will wear the white-on-white look with the yellow numbers and the green helmets. Mount Vernon in the green uniform tops, the white pants, and the green helmets with the Mountaineer logo on either side.
Yes, I joked that the green team was going to win. It was my bold prediction of the day, and I feel pretty good about it.
I like it. Mount Vernon wins the toss, and if you wonder if football coaches are superstitious, Mount Vernon only lost 2 coin tosses all year long. Tom Cox told us that without missing a beat the other day.
They're good at that. There's no doubt about it. They're better at that than winning football games. They've lost 4 football games and only
2 coin tosses.
Only 2 coin tosses.
And they've won the coin toss here today. They deferred. They will get the ball to start the second half. So we will see the Spoof Hound offense first today. The Spoof Hounds, led by quarterback Will Walker, 49 of 116 through the air, 854 yards and 10 touchdowns. But Dion, like some of the state championship games we saw yesterday, not all about the passing game for Mount Vernon or Maryville. Maryville features 2,000-yard running backs in Tyler Hoochin and Eli Dowis.
Yeah, and that's Maryville's. They're an option-based offense, and that's their DNA. They want to run the ball. But one thing they will do sometimes is when you're thinking they're going to run, they'll hit you over the top with a good passing game as well. And the quarterback at Northwest Missouri State, Baker, was a former Maryville quarterback, so they could throw it when they want to, but they really want to grind you out most of the time, and that's kind of what they want to do.
Time of possession is the name of the game. Houchin, 1,280 yards, averages 6.2 yards per carry. Dowis, in 11 games, 1,001 yards, 7.4 yards per carry. Number 19 will handle the kicking duties for Mount Vernon. He is Jaden Buttram. They've got 12 minutes up on the clock.
I almost think the weather is too nice.
It's almost too nice for football.
It's too nice for football in November.
Buttram is ready to kick this one away. 2 back deep. Kick is up and in the air, and we are underway here at Faroe Field. Fielded on the 10-yard line, and a big return, and just getting tripped up across the 35-yard line. And what a way to start a game. He was one step away, Dion, from taking that one to the house.
Oh, I tell you, that thing opened up so wide. I put my hands up in the touchdown signal because I thought he was going to go. Great saving tackle there to keep this from being 7-0 really quick.
Quentin Turnus on the return for the Spoof Hounds. Will Walker will walk them up to the line of scrimmage. One wide receiver to the bottom of the formation. Walker with 2 backs behind him. Mount Vernon showing blitz. They send it. The quarterback will be sacked and dropped for a 6-yard loss on the opening offensive snap. That time, Dion, Mount Vernon sold out and they got to Walker.
Well, and it was really slow developing, too. I'm not sure if that was a misstep or something like that, because it looked like Walker was just kind of looking for somebody else and really didn't have anything going on. And then Mount Vernon is back there really quick.
Great push up front that time. Luke McKenzie for Mount Vernon. And now they drop him for another loss as the Mount Vernon defense is teeing off right now. Dion just pinning their ears back and going for it.
Well, like I said, that we were so close to a touchdown on the opening kickoff, and now Mount Vernon's got all the momentum here just in the first 2 plays.
Sammy Robinson, the linebacker and running back, in on the stop that time for the Mountaineers. It is 3rd and 16 now. Back to pass is Walker. Good pocket around him, and he airs this one out and off the fingertips of the intended receiver that time. Partner, you were right. They don't throw it a bunch, but when they need to, they can be deadly accurate as that one bounced off the fingers of Brady Atwell.
And, you know, Walker there, that's a ball almost into triple coverage, and he really put that on
Oh,
the
it was
money.
beautiful.
It was a great throw.
So it'll be a 3 and out after 2 tackles for a loss. Backs the Spoof Hounds up. 4th down and long here, and they will send their punter on. That's Nick Garner. Good rush. They hit the punter, and the flag will come down here. Ball down just across the 50-yard line. But there's going to be a roughing the kicker penalty here as we wait for the call from referee Rick Williams.
Yeah, just got in there and totally just rolled him, and there was no subtlety to that. I always like it when a penalty like this, and they ask the player, do you want to take the penalty or do you want to punt it? No, we'll take the penalty.
Our officials still talking to the Spoof Hounds, and they like the call.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, defense. 15 yards, automatic first down.
So they get the 15-yard variety of the roughing the kicker penalty, automatic first down, and boy, that is heartbreaking if you're Mount Vernon. They had a perfect 3 and out where the defense was flying to the ball, 2 tackles for a loss, and then a bad penalty gives the Spoof Hounds a second shot here. So 1st and 10, ball on the 41-yard line, dive play, straight give, but still Maryville can't find a running lane.
Well, Mount Vernon's defensive line is really controlling that part of the field right now, and Maryville's used to kind of blowing guys off the ball and getting deep into the second level, and Mount Vernon is not letting them do that.
This is a Mount Vernon defense, very fast, very physical. In the semifinal versus Lutheran South, they forced 4 turnovers and held Lutheran South to only 127 yards. Good blocking that time. They get a man free into the second level, and he's off to the races. Tries to get around another would-be tackler before he's downed at the 15-yard line. And finally, the offense of Maryville comes to life there. A big gainer all the way down into the red zone.
Yeah, they just kind of came back off the backside there in a little cutback run, and
Dowis with a stiff
arm. Just a stiff arm there and gets in. Once in the second level, they've got a little bit of speed here. Good play by Mount Vernon to keep that from being a touchdown.
1st and 10 from the 15 now. They try to run off the right tackle side. Will find 5 yards, a good pickup on first down. You wait and see coming off the bottom of the pile. That's number 12. That's Dowis again, who just broke off the big run.
One of the things that Maryville has is they've got 4 different guys who will run the ball, so they're pretty fresh usually all game long. And you want to, a lot of times you see that wear teams down in the second half especially.
2nd down, run straight up the middle, diving across the goal line for a touchdown. And Maryville, after a roughing the kicker penalty, turns it into 6 points. When the Mount Vernon defense had held on the opening 3 plays, and now a big run play leads them all the way down the field for 6.
Yeah, and I obviously jinxed the Mount Vernon defensive line because they've gotten blown off the ball the last 2 times.
Maryville lines up for the 2-point conversion here. It looks like an old variation on the swinging gate, and it's mishandled. A little wrinkle in the offense that time, trying a little double end around, and Mount Vernon blew that one up.
No one was fooled on that one.
No.
Mount Vernon got in there and just totally messed up that whole attempt there.
Prescott, the 5'9 sophomore, in to break that one up. A 7-play, 66-yard scoring drive for Maryville. The score for Eli Dowis.
Penalties decline. Points no good.
And they didn't have enough guys on the line.
Not enough players on the line of scrimmage in that swinging gate formation that Maryville used for the 2-point conversion. So 51 yards, 50 yards rushing on 3 carries for Eli Dowis, and a very nice opening drive for the Spoof Hounds. And Mount Vernon's offense will now have its first shot. Andrew Montemare back deep as he awaits the kickoff.
I'm real excited to see Sammy Robinson and this Mount Vernon offense take the field. This is one of those teams when you look at the stat numbers, you're like, hey, I want to see this kid play.
Nick Garner set to kick this one away. He puts it into the air with the right foot. Fumbled for a moment, picked up by the Mountaineers, and they will drive it across to the 31-yard line. And that's where Ty Boswell and the offense will have their first crack at it. You talk about Sammy Robinson and the year he has had for Mount Vernon. 241 carries, over 1,500 yards, and 15 touchdowns. He averages just under 110 yards a game. And they can really use him in a variety of ways, Dion. Line him up in the slot, line him up in the backfield next to the quarterback, Boswell. And, of course, he plays significant minutes as a linebacker as well. They'll fake the handoff to him, try to get it to Montemare out in the flat. He gets it, but the Spoof Hound defense will drive him backwards. It'll be a loss of 4 on the first play from scrimmage for Mount Vernon.
Yeah, the first guy there didn't make the tackle, but he did slow him up enough to get a little bit of time there for the linebackers to close on that ball, and second and long here for Mount Vernon.
The Eli Dowis touchdown just moments ago. 3 receivers to the left of Ty Boswell, the quarterback. The give to Robinson. They spread the field out, and Sammy turns the corner, gets upfield, and picks up about 7-8 yards that time, trying to get part of back what they lost on that first play to Montemare. They'll bring him back to a third and manageable here. Third about 5 as the clock ticks under 8.5 minutes to play here in quarter number 1.
Sammy, he did a good job of kind of dinking inside and then got to the outside, showed his speed on that play.
This time they go up the middle and there is nowhere to run to as the Spoof Hound defense there pressuring that time. Number 57 in on the tackle, Jacob Search. Early on, the spot to run on that Spoof Hound defense might be to the outside edges because the middle of that defense is pretty stout. Mount Vernon's quarterback is also their punter, Ty Boswell. Boswell, 40 punts this season, averaged a little under 35 yards. Low snap, Boswell fields it cleanly and sends an end-over-end punt that will bounce and be fielded at the 26, and he got laid out.
That would not have been my choice.
Patrick Lester on the bomb squad dropped the return man in his tracks, and Maryville will take over there, and that was a wicked hit. I'm sure that seemed like a good idea at the time. But in retrospect, I think I've got room.
Maybe not.
I think I've got room. Oh, wait, I don't have room. Walker and the Spoof Hound offense back to work. Counterplay up the middle to the big back, and he's got a hole and runs all the way down. Picks up almost 18 yards. And a big rumbling play up the middle.
So the first 3 plays of the game, Maryville wasn't getting anybody out past the line of scrimmage, but now their guys are getting into the second level there. Tyler Houchin on that last run, and that's going to be tough to beat if you can't get these guys down before that.
Big blocking up front. The runner tries to cut it back. It's fumbled. Who's got it? Looks like it's still Maryville's ball. They dodged a bullet there. Coming up off the bottom of the pile with it has been Holtman, one of the offensive tackles.
You know, we talk about Mount Vernon and their ability to kind of run outside. It's the opposite here with Maryville. They're having success between the tackles. The few times they've tried to go outside of that, they've been stuffed up.
2nd down and 6 here. Receiver to the top of the formation. They run to the right side and another big run, and Dion, the blocking downfield that Maryville's getting right now. These big guys are getting out, and they're just paving the road for the backs.
Yeah, these are huge holes to run through, and these backs aren't even seeing anybody until they're 10, 15 yards down the field.
Dowis on the run that time, tackled by the senior Chance Fenton for Mount Vernon. Another 20-yard run for the Spoof Hounds. They give it to the dive back. He's got another big hole to run through, and another Spoof Hound first down.
We're easily averaging 7 to 8 yards a carry since those first 3 plays of the game.
Houchin, the running back again that time. Perry on the tackle for the Mountaineers, and they are just getting big chunks of yards every time.
And that's the first time a back.
And of course, I say big chunks of yards every time, and that time it's a short gain for Houchin.
Yeah, but that's still a 4-yard gain on first down there, 2nd and 6. And if that's your worst gain on first down, that says something right there. But the other thing is the pace of this. They are really getting a lot of plays off.
They toss it to the near side of the field that time, and the Mountaineer defense had that one sniffed out. They string the play all the way out, and they will get a stop on the play. And a little bit of chirping back and forth here in the early going that time as Eli Dowis walks back to the Maryville huddle.
Well, we may have jinxed it. We were talking last night after the games were over. Great sportsmanship in the first 2 games. That's the most chippiness we've seen this weekend right there as the ball gets knocked out of the Maryville runner's hand.
Walker back under center here. 5:55 to play in the first quarter. Run to the right again, and another 5 yards. They just grind it out. Houchin again gets behind that big offensive line, and they are doing work right now. Jalen Sundel, Jackson Brum, Jacob Search, Jackson Sanders, and Ben Holtman. The big 5 offensive linemen up front right now that are getting a push, getting good leverage. Mount Vernon, look at how many guys they put in the box this time against the run. Houchin will test the right side, push the pile forward, and he's going to be close to a first down.
Well, you see on that play, I mean, he's running straight up, and he doesn't even get anybody on him until he's 3 yards down the field, and they just kind of stop him from there, and it's all, an easy first down on 4th down.
McKenzie on the tackle.
The pace is the thing right now. They're running it like they're some kind of spread, get up the field. I mean, they're calling plays.
Getting up to the line of scrimmage in a hurry. There's a run right up the hash. Touchdown, Maryville. And the Spoof Hounds have jumped out to a 12-0 lead over Mount Vernon. That time running the ball up the gut. Was that Houchin again? It was, and he is slow coming off the field. Kind of a stagger coming back off there.
I heard somebody yell kick.
Well, they went for the 2-point conversion the first time. We'll try something different this time. Nick Garner handles the kicking duties. They rush out, only 4 on the play clock. There's a good snap, good hold, but not a good kick. Is that one a low line drive to the left at 5:17 to go here in quarter number 1.
That might be why they went for 2 the first time.
It might be.
I mean, last week they didn't have any problem with extra points.
Jacob Bruder also handles the kicking duties along with Garner. So just a change of pace that time for Matt Webb and the Maryville Spoof Hounds, 4-time state champions here in the state of Missouri. They won it back-to-back in 2012 and 2013 with perfect seasons, defeating John Burroughs 21-14 in the title game for then head coach Doug Smith, and then Matt Webb winning it in 2013, defeating Seneca 50-28. And you talk about this team being here, not only do they have the 4 titles, they also have 3 state runners-up trophies, including last year in 2016. They also finished in second in 96 and 2008. Mount Vernon has got to find an offensive answer here, as Montemayor will field the ball at the 9 and try to get a big return. Goes around one would-be tackler and then gets snowed under by 3 white jerseys. And he stopped dead on top of the SEC logo on the far side of the field.
Well, if you're Mount Vernon, you're down 12-0, and you really don't feel like you're part of the game at this point. I mean, you had that great defensive stop on the first series. It gets negated by that roughing the kicker penalty, and now you're sitting there going, hey, we're down 12-0, but we really haven't even barely run any offense.
This time the Mount Vernon offense will spread them out. Empty backfield for Boswell. 3 receivers to the left. He brings the man back in motion. Boswell calls his own number, and the Spoof Hounds have him tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
That's just a great one-on-one play there. The quarterback had plenty of space, but the linebacker comes up and makes the play.
Tyler McGarry wears number 1 and is a sophomore. He was the one that sacked Boswell for the 1-yard loss. 2nd down and 11 now, 4:44 to play. They'll try to get Robinson out in space. Cuts underneath a blocker, picks up 4 yards, but there's a flag on the play out on the far side of the field.
Looks like it's going to be a hole on the receiver out there blocking on the edge.
Our white hat, Rick Williams. Yep, and the initial call holding. And that flag was thrown right where you're used to seeing it.
That side judge was right there next to the receiver, so he saw the
spot of the foul. Repeat 2nd down.
So what was 2nd and 11 will now grow to 2nd and 18 for the Mount Vernon offense. The Mountaineers averaged 25 points per game this year. Scored over 356 points, and they fumble it. The ball is loose. Do the Spoof Hounds have it? Their sideline thinks they do. No word yet from the officials.
Oh.
It's 3rd down.
That avoided disaster right there for Mount Vernon. That could have been pretty close to done here if you give Maryville that kind of field position this early in the first quarter. Leading 12-0.
Turn the ball over on the 17-yard line. 3rd down and long, 3rd and 19. Boswell back to pass here. He's got a man rushing in his face. He checks down to the safety valve, and they barely get a couple of yards on that play. Defense that time in the face of the Mountaineer quarterback. The stop that time by 57, that's Jacob Search.
Well, you know, one thing you see on that defensive line from Maryville, they weren't really trying to get up the field. I think they were trying to make sure that Boswell didn't take off and run on them, so they were really just in a contained type of mode. And then that short pass, that brought the defensive line and the linebackers into play, and Maryville makes a nice stop.
Boswell back to punt this one away. Spoof Hounds get a good surge up front that time. This punt will bounce and get a Mount Vernon roll across the 45. Down inside the 43-yard line, and that's where Maryville will take over. And the Spoof Hounds offense has scored 480 points this season. They average 34 points per game. Dion, the defense only gives up less than 2 touchdowns, about 13 points.
But would you believe if I told you that that's really kind of a down year for them?
I would.
Maryville is kind of, you know, when I'm doing work on Friday nights, Maryville is the running clock team in the Kansas City area.
Little misdirection play this time. They hand it to the running back. He hands it off to the other back coming across the formation. And they'll get another 6 yards here almost on 1st down. The ground game has just been impressive here after the first 3 plays. The first 3 plays, the Mountaineer defense was flying around the field, and now all of a sudden Maryville is playing Maryville football.
Yeah, and they're kind of going right at them here. I mean, that's one thing they've done the last 2 drives.
Another slow developing run to the near side, and it'll be a big gainer. Can he break it? He's at the 10, at the 5, touchdown, Spoof Hounds. They're up 3 scores.
The only guy guy who came close to tackling Dallas on that one was his own guy.
Dallas's second touchdown of the afternoon. Maryville now up 18-0 as you see him just running away from defense. Montemare for Mount Vernon cannot catch him. And he races in for his second touchdown of the day, his 14th touchdown of the season.
Well, that's another one where Dallas is deep into the secondary.
There's a flag down on the play. The two-point conversion is caught after, I don't know what I just saw. And now there's a second flag down, which is going to be a dead ball foul after the fact. So they got penalized the first time they lined up in that formation, Ian, for not having enough men on the line of scrimmage. That ball that time was a designed run, and as the player was being tackled, he pitched it to a deep man who then completed the pass to the near side corner of the end zone for 2.
You know, we're 3 games into the weekend, and we've seen a little bit of everything out of
I haven't seen that.
We saw Lamar with the fake punt yesterday that didn't work. Well, it worked, but was called back because of formation issue.
Later on, we'll see if maybe Pattonville wants to roll out a Tim Tebow jump pass or something, just finish off the weekend.
We had 2 penalties on the try. We had illegal procedure, 6 men on the line.
Same penalty.
And we also had an receiver down kicking team.
Well, we'll see. We'll see
if
if they'll kick or go for 2.
That's an assumption, maybe. I'm not sure if.
I don't think they're going to kick.
No, I don't.
Matt Webb sends the offense back out again. And all right, help me out. We don't have a telestrator, but
I think we got 7 there.
Well, now we're going to change formations. So go into a standard offense. They overload the left side of the formation. Play action pass out to the tight end for 2. And that, my good friend, was a Steve DeBerg-esque put the ball on your hip, bootleg out to your right, and drop it over to the top for 2.
Some of the best memories of my 20s was Steve DeBerg putting the ball on the hip on a play action.
For my money, the best play action quarterback to ever play for the Chiefs, maybe one of the best ever.
With the bad pinky as well.
Captain Pinky.
Well,
Cade Gustafson completes the 2-point conversion.
Mount Vernon has got to get this ball and try and get a first down at this point. I mean, that's where they're at right now. They haven't gotten the first down.
Pardon me, Atwell had the catch from the Will Walker pass, and that's the 2-point conversion that makes the score 20-0 Maryville. As Mount Vernon is just reeling right now. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Deion. The running plays are uniquely slow to develop, but they are so well blocked.
Well, between the tackles, Maryville's just chewing it up. The only time that Mount Vernon has really slowed them or stopped them is when Maryville tries to go to the edges, and that's.
Montemare fields the kickoff at the 10, dances out across the 30, and is brought down short of the 35-yard line. So the Mountaineers will have good starting field position here. Nice return for Andrew Montemare. And see if the Mount Vernon offense can get jump started here. So far in this one, Mount Vernon has had 5 rushing plays for 10 yards, and they've had 2 passing plays that's accounted for about 7 yards. They just really haven't been able to get the offense going north and south yet. They'll spread them out again here. 4 receivers in the formation. Montemare calls for it. Boswell goes down deep. A great catch, falling out of bounds at the 45-yard line that time. It's number 15, Chance Fenton.
Great throw by Boswell there. He saw that the safety was slow to come over on that and had a great spot out there in the flat.
Fenton's
pitch and catch.
Fenton's 38th catch of the season. 21 yards on the pickup, and the Mountaineers are marching. Quick hitter to the near side that time. They go right back to Mr. Fenton. He catches it, but only gets about 2 yards. Stopped by Tate Oglesby, the corner that time for the Spoofhound defense.
And if you're a Spoofhound fan, the Oglesby name There's been a few Oglesby that's come through.
Kind of like Bailey's in Lamar.
Yes.
Second down and 8 for the Mountaineers. Robinson can't get going. The guys wearing the white uniforms have Sammy Robinson bottled up.
Yeah, that time he was looking to get outside, but they had so much penetration in the middle that he never even had a chance to get out.
Jacob Search in on the stop again. The defensive tackle for Maryville has been all over the field. He now has over 50 tackles on the season, has a couple of sacks coming into today, and he has had a nose for the football so far. Third down and 12 now, a minute 20 remaining in quarter number 1. A quick hitter on a stop and go, and they'll be just about a yard short here on the spot, as that time Boswell was able to find Muttram on the outside, and the senior comes up just a yard short.
Yeah, just a little quick hitter there, and that had a chance to be even bigger. And if I'm Mount Vernon, I'm going here. You're down 20 to nothing. You're your first down on this drive. You're in Maryville territory. Go for it. Push the envelope here.
Got to find something to hang your hat on right now if you're the Mountaineers, and they'll line up jumbo set, the give to Robinson, but the Spoof Hounds get penetration and stop him in his tracks.
Boy, that defensive line had that offensive line pushed back into the backfield, and Robinson had no chance here. Look, you've got 3 guys that are deep in that thing, and about the time Robinson got the ball, there was somebody at his feet.
Yeah, that time you line up. It's power football. You put a hat on a hat. And that time, the Spoof Hounds able to get the push up front. They hold them. I still think that's the right call. I think right now with the momentum all being Maryville's way, you've got to find something to jumpstart your team. Now look, Maryville goes to the air. That's 12 yards and a flag for a late hit out of bounds.
Well, that's one thing you can't have. I mean, Mount Vernon's had some penalties here that have been tough to.
Turnus with his 13th catch of the season. He's got 2 touchdowns coming into today, and Prescott gets into him after he stepped out of bounds.
You don't need to be giving Maryville an extra 15 yards. That's 2 personal fouls that have been, the first one led to a touchdown drive. We'll see what this one does.
So far, Maryville in the first quarter has 182 rushing yards. Eli Dowis has accounted for 124 on 7 carries.
Well, you see on this one right here, Tyler House just breaking through the middle, just keeping his feet moving. And it's an easy 5-yard gain. Now they're in 2nd and 5.
Reuter that time trying to get loose, picks up about half the necessary yardage. 2nd down and 5 here as the Spoof Hounds offense continues to roll. They cross up the Mount Vernon defense again, and it's a big hole on the far side of the field. And man, everything working right now for Maryville.
Yeah, that double handoff, they've done it twice now. And really, it's basically like looks like an inside reverse. In the old days, the old double reverse on the backside of the quarterback. This is inside the quarterback, and he's getting, Houchin's 15 yards down the field before he sees anyone.
Houchin now nearing 70 yards on the ground here in the first quarter, and the clock hits 0, and we will take a break. 20-0 our score as the Spoof Hounds lead Mount Vernon here on Misha.tv. Back for second quarter action here at Faroe Field. Corey Riggs and Dion Clisso on the call of the Class 3 championship game between the Maryville Spoof Hounds and the Mount Vernon Mountaineers. The last time the Mountaineers won a state title, it was 1978, Class 2A. By the way, they dropped that A a number of years ago for those of you that still like to throw that in. Here they go, another run for the Spoof Hounds, spinning and still driving all the way down to the 6-yard line. And the running backs for the Spoof Hounds are having themselves a day that time. They give the run to number 44. That's Jacob Reuter.
You know, we talk about Houchin being the fullback, and now Reuter comes in and spells him. That's really what one of the keys for Maryville is their depth.
They are knocking on the door again. Good play that time by the Mountaineer defense to hold them for no gain here. Second down and goal to go from the 6-yard line. You see the Mountaineer defensive front trying to hold their own here against a run game that rattled off almost 200 yards in the first quarter. They cross them up again. Running back tries to cut it back to the inside, but not a lot of room to run that time for Brady Atwell.
Well, a good fill on the backside there. That's one of the last two plays. Mount Vernon is not getting blown off the ball, and their backside guys are helping out and really flowing down the line to kind of slow down that running game, and now Maryville's in a 3rd and goal here.
Dion, Maryville has already had 6 different players rush the ball. As they roll it here on 3rd down, they give it to the big back straight up the middle for 6 again. Spoof Hounds, Jacob Reuter, the 6-foot senior, is in for his first touchdown of the day. The 4th rushing touchdown in the first half for the Spoof Hounds.
He was barely touched on that one. The only thing that stopped him was the goal line.
Now the excitement comes here on the 2-point conversion.
These have been the best plays of the day. Really, what are they going to do on this one?
They have been unique. I will give them that much. They try the reverse here, looking to pass, throwing as he's tackled. The ball is caught, but he'll be stopped on the 2-yard line. Good job by Javion Perry that time, the 5'11 senior for Mount Vernon, to get the stop. I'll give Matt Webb this. Every 2-point conversion is an adventure.
Yes, and you're seeing different stuff here. You're seeing reverse passes. You're seeing.
And this is Dowis that threw the ball. This is not the quarterback, Will Walker. That's number 12.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're reminded the Memorial Stadium is a non-smoking.
Well, Mount Vernon better get something going here quick, or else it's going to be a quick second half.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Mount Vernon coming into today with a record of 10-4. Those 3 losses in the middle of the season to Aurora, Lamar, and Cassville galvanized this team, and then they steamrolled their way through the districts with wins of 30-18, 37-8, 24-6, and then holding on in a defensive battle against Lutheran South to win 16-0 last week as the Maryville special teams comes back out. Number 34, Nick Garner, set to kick it away for one of the only teams in the state of Missouri to have their mascot in the ESPN Mascot Hall of Fame. 2016, the mothership put the Spoof Hound into their Mascot Hall of Fame, and Garner's kick taken inside the 15, tripped up, crossing the 25, down at the 28 is Montemare. And Mount Vernon's offense will come back out on the field here in quarter number 2.
Well, that's the second kickoff there where it looked like it was opening up, and then you get a good open field tackle right here. Just nip the heels, knock him down.
Tripping him up was Tyler McGarry, the sophomore. That's the second time we've called his name on a good special teams play this afternoon here in Columbia. Trips to the far side for Boswell, and then they spread it out. 4 receivers, and they'll set up a screen for Montemare. He cuts inside, spins around 1 tackler. They'll pick up 6, almost 7 yards on a well-designed screen play to get Boswell out in space.
Well, and that's one of the things I think they can do on Maryville is get out to the edges and use their speed. Mount Vernon's got a little bit more speed, it looks like, on offense than what Maryville has on defense. But the problem is that offensive line has been giving up too much ground, and they really haven't had a chance to get some of those. Some of that stuff on the edge is going to be a little slower developing.
Ty Boswell, 5 of 5 passing today for 30 yards. And there's the tackle in the backfield. Again, they key on Robinson, and Sammy Robinson can't go anywhere. Surprise, surprise, Jacob Search on the stop.
Yeah, that's just a guy shooting the gap, kind of man on man there and saying, hey, that's my guy, I'm going to go get him. And another 3rd down for Mount Vernon.
That dude has been everywhere today from the defensive line for the Spoof Hounds. 3rd down and 5, ball on the 32 here. 4 wide in the formation for Boswell. Short drop, looks right, comes back left. That one just a little too far. Getting a hand on it that time was Ethan Johnston,
Number 12, Ethan Johnston.
but unable to bring it in as he just led him a little too much that time.
Well, and that was a tough window to get that thing in. He had underneath and over top coverage there. And
Garrett Pistol put a pretty good shot into him too. He might have heard footsteps.
unfortunately for Mount Vernon, now you got to get the ball back to Maryville.
Boswell will drop back in punt formation here with 5 seconds on the play clock. High snap. He gets it cleanly and sends an end-over-end punt right down the middle of the field, and it will be returnable. Mountaineers get him stopped on the 45-yard line. Short return that time for Oglesby, the sophomore who wears number 3.
You know,
Buttram on the side.
what's funny is that first drive, they had him stopped. They had him 3 and out, and they, throwing him backwards. They forced Maryville a punt,
First down, Maryville.
and ever since that point, Maryville's just run up and down the field. I mean, it's
Mountaineer defense did everything you could ask of it on the opening series, and then one penalty seemed to have turned the game on its ear. 26-0 our score. Maryville tries to go right into the teeth of the Mountaineer defense. They'll pick up 2 yards on first down.
oh, and that's one that looked like he was stopped at the backfield, and he fell forward and still got 3 yards on that. I mean,
Houchin with 9 carries for 72 yards and a touchdown so far here in our Class 3 championship. 2nd down and 8 now. They right up the middle again, and look at all the blockers downfield for Maryville. They pull the guard and tackle around. They get the other running backs and even the quarterback to a certain extent downfield blocking, Dion, and they've just got guys that are open up holes.
well, on Reuter on that one, he's just got his hand in the back of his lineman, just kind of following him through and just, leading the way. He's not even really running that hard, and he's 6-7 yards down the field.
Another first down run for the Spoof Hounds. Walker will go to the air this time. Down the hash, it's caught on the 15-yard line. The tackle is made. Holy cow.
And that's a great throw into traffic here.
First down,
Just
Maryville.
delivers a really, look at this, in-step, double coverage.
And he's bracketed. Montemayor's on one side of him. And how do you come down with that ball? Eli Dow is showing you he's not just a running back. That was a great grab out of the backfield. Give back up the middle again. Getting tripped up as he gets inside the 10-yard line.
Ball carried by Tyler Houchin.
Houchin
Yeah,
again.
you're watching Houchin and Reuter, and they're 4 yards before they even see anybody in a green jersey.
7 yards on the first down carry for Houchin. 2nd and 3 as Maryville is knocking on the door again. Spoof Hounds push the pile forward. Get stopped on the 6-yard line. Houchin again just feeding him the rock.
Third down.
He's got the most carries so far in this one for Maryville. He's touched the ball on a dozen carries, and he's just 6 yards short of 100 yards rushing here in the first half.
Well, and you generally think of that fullback, getting 3-4 yards a carry. He's getting 7-8 yards a carry.
Just a yard short of the goal line that time as they go off left tackle.
Ball carried by Eli Dowell.
Speed play that time for Dowis as he got around the corner. Andrew Montemayor able to hold him out of the end zone.
Well, I usually like to make the joke that I could run through these holes. I think Jim could run through these holes. Jim might have 100 yards right now.
This time the Mountaineer defense gets to the point of attack first and sends Tyler Houchin backwards. That may be the first time that young man hasn't gotten positive yards on his 13 carries.
Yeah, another 2nd and goal from the 4. And you could see the spirits of that Mount Vernon defense lift by just getting the stop there.
2nd down and goal this time. They try to spread it out to the right side. There's going to be a stretch and a score. What a heady play down on the goal line to reach out, break the plane, and Maryville takes it to the house again. This time it's Eli Dowis for the score.
I tell you, look at how he cuts back here. Gets that first hit, sees that he's not down, and then dives and gets it. What a great run, a heady play there at the end to have a awareness where he was on the field.
Dallas's third touchdown of the day. The extra point is up and good.
And all they did was kick it.
They did.
That's
all
no
they did was
fun.
kick. Not very
That's no
exciting, was it,
fun.
partner? 6:59 to go until halftime, and we will take a break. Maryville up big over the Mountaineers, 33-0.
I'm going to have to get on Matt Webb for that.
$33-0 our score as the Spoof Hounds are trying to run their way to a 5th state championship in the school's history. Their last state title coming back in 2013. They are set to kick this one off again. 7 minutes to go, 6:59 until we reach the intermission. Another good kick for Nick Garner. Fielded at the 7-yard line. Montemer comes to the near side, makes one man miss, makes another man miss, and gets spun down on the 34-yard line. Another good return for number 21 for the Mountaineers. And watch him, just an elusive runner, good blocking downfield.
Well, I mean, when you're down 33-0 with 6 minutes to go in the second quarter, you're looking for positives, and really their kickoff return, they've done a great job of blocking that and really come close to breaking a couple of those.
Connor Weiss on the special team stop that time for the Spoof Hounds. Ty Boswell, 5 of 6 on the afternoon. This time, they try to show their speed to the Mountaineers, getting to the edge that time and picking up 6 yards on first down. Instead of giving it to Sammy Robinson, now they try to pass it out to him in the flat and get him in space.
Well, and good blocking out there by the wide receivers to get him that extra 2 or 3 yards, and now they're in a much more manageable 2nd and 4.
Robinson had 31 carries for 160 yards in the win over Lutheran South. They'll give it to him again. He'll pick up about 1.5 yards on second down as the Spoof Hound defense chased him from one side of the field to the other and made the stop.
Well, and good show of speed there, because really he was kind of bottled up, and it looked like it might have been either a loss or right at the line of scrimmage, but he's able to get a couple yards here and put him in 3rd and 2.
Sundell making the tackle that time for Maryville. 3rd and short here, 3rd and 1 with the clock now under 6 minutes to play. Trips to the right side of Boswell, who'll now run up under center. Quarterback sneak, and there's going to be a flag on the play. I don't know if everybody came set before the snap.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to do a quick quarterback sneak there, and a little too quick for their own good.
And it is a false start penalty against Mount Vernon. They'll take them from a 3rd and short.
5 yards, still 3rd down.
A snap infraction on the center. Must have maybe twitched the ball a little bit.
We had one of those yesterday as well. I'm trying to remember the last time I had seen a snap infraction. We've had 2 in 3 games. Is that a point of emphasis this year, the snap infraction?
They go from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 6 now after the 5-yard penalty. No quarterback sneak this time. Boswell back to pass, has pressure from the backside, runs to buy time, then throws the ball up and over the head of Chance Fenton, incomplete. It'll be 4th down.
Good catch by the Maryville staff over there on the sidelines, but I don't think that's where Boswell wanted to go with that ball.
It's important to pay attention when you're on the sideline.
Yes.
You never know when you may
Yes.
get hit with an incomplete pass. You
Whether
don't
you're
want to
a
make
coach
Sports Centers not top 10
or a
plays
media
that way.
person, you need to pay attention if you're on the sideline.
Boswell back to punt this one away. High wobbly snap. Good job by the Mount Vernon punter just to be able to even get his hands on it. Boswell shows you a little athleticism. Oglesby shoved out of bounds on the 30-yard line, and there's a flag back down on the 24.
Looks like we might have a hold there or a block in the back.
Initial indication is a block in the back on the return team. So Maryville backing up a little bit.
They had an illegal block in the back on the receiving team. 10 yards from the foul. First down.
Means Maryville will have to go 85 yards this time. As Matt Webb sends his offense back out onto the field. 250 rushing yards so far here in the first half for the Spoof Hounds, and they've got a few more here. Look at that, dancing around at a 15-yard gain again, and they are just chewing up yards. That time it goes to the running back, Brady Atwell, and they've just got a stable of runners that everybody's getting touches here, Dion.
Yeah, and the thing about it is we had Dallas earlier, and now we got Atwell in there spelling him, and so when you got fresh guys, even in the second quarter, when you got a fresh guy coming in, it's a huge thing.
Give up the middle this time, another 10-yard gainer, make that 20, and he's tripped up crossing the 50-yard line. A touchdown saving tackle as Reuter gets loose this time.
You know what? The one thing about this running game is the patience of these running backs. They're not just busting through holes. They're letting it develop in front of them, having plenty of confidence. Like, hey, my guys are going to get those blocks. Let's let them get it downfield a little bit, and then they burst through when they've got a lot of open field.
Normally, you talk about size, speed, strength. The best attribute of every one of these Maryville runners is their vision and their patience and their ability to wait for the play to develop in front of them and then use their speed and take off. Buttram on the stop that time. 2nd down and 6. 4:15 to play here in the second. Mount Vernon shows blitz, and they do, all the way into the backfield. It'll be a 7-8 yard loss that time as Mount Vernon's defensive coordinator dialed up a blitz and the players executed it perfectly.
Well, what you're seeing now, the last few plays, is those linebackers really cheating up on the line, trying to shoot gaps because they're getting gashed so much by this. They're trying to, guess right and see if they can get back in the backfield. That time they did.
Will Boswell on the stop. He came into today, Dion, with 227 tackles on the season. He needs 6 today to have the number 2 tackle stat in Misha history for a single season. The gentleman who happens to have the all-time record is about another 50 tackles beyond that. So we're not going to see the record book completely rewritten.
No, I don't think he's going to get another 45 tackles today.
A good day for Boswell will give him the number 2 tackle mark in Missouri State High School football history, and we'll keep our eyes on that as the stat sheets come our way. Another first down for the Spoof Hounds, and the clock continues to wind. Play action pass. Walker hit as he throws down the field, intercepted by Mount Vernon, and they'll take it over on the 20-yard line.
Well, that's like the first good thing there for Mount Vernon in the last since the first 3 and out. Really, he got hit as he threw. I'm trying to see how much of that really. He was just kind of a bad throw. I mean, he really.
Colton Hicks got to him, the interception for Carson Bowman, a sophomore, playing big here in the Mountaineers secondary. The first turnover of the day. And wow, Maryville defense did not like that turnover, and they are hitting people in the mouth.
Well, and Mount Vernon, which I think they need to do, and they just didn't hold on the ball on that play. That would have been a good, 5-yard pickup.
2nd down and 10 now, 3:10 remaining on the clock here. Game 1 of 3 on this championship Saturday. Show Me Bowl, the 2017 installment. The Class 1 championship to follow this game, Monroe City and the Valley Catholic Warriors.
It was awful nice of Misha to move these games to South Florida so we could have great weather.
That's not far from the truth.
I've got a buddy who lives in Tampa. I think it's colder there.
They spread them out that time. Boswell on a quarterback keeper picks up a yard. Search on the stop, and it's 3rd down and 9 for Mount Vernon. Boswell back to pass, has a man downfield trying to shove his way past a couple of Spoofhound tacklers, and he does get the Mount Vernon 1st down and stops the clock with 2:28. Montemayor and Chance Fenton out on the far side that time, and the wide receivers doing a good job of blocking for one another.
That's the one thing you've seen on these little screen passes.
Montemayor gets the 10 yards. Another flag down. Penalties here in the first half have been dead even. 3 for 30 against the Spoofhounds, 3 for 30 on the Mountaineers. 5-yard penalty against the Mountaineers, so that'll make it 1st and 15 after the pitch and catch between Montemayor and Boswell. Boswell efficient through the air so far, 7 of 10, but only 42 yards. They'll send a motion man to the near side. Boswell back paddles it, it's picked! Boswell tried to knock him out, but he does not. Oglesby with the interception. Boswell throws off his back foot here.
Back foot into double coverage. Easy step and run here.
He was trying to get the ball out on the edge to Montemayor, and the Spoofhounds make him pay. The 23rd turnover for Mount Vernon this season as we await the extra point here. Kick is up and good again. Nick Garner knocks through 2 extra points on the last 2 touchdowns, and with 2:19 to play until the half, Maryville now up 40-0, and they are just kind of running away and hiding.
Well,
now just the ground here in the first 2 quarters.
It's kind of a mirror image of what they did to Blair Oaks in the semifinals. 42-0 with about 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. They have just been so dominant the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, they've been in tough games before, but it's hard to look up at a scoreboard and come up with a second half plan to negate a 40-point advantage. $40-0. The difference in this one right now, Maryville just pounding the rock, 300 yards. Tries to cut it across the grain, bring it back to the near side, and he will be brought down around the 13-yard line. And Mount Vernon will have 2 minutes and 11 seconds to work with as they try to get a score on the board, something to hang their hat on here, Dion, to say that something's gone right here in this first half.
Well, they've got a couple first downs, but that's about it. I mean, and they were doing a good job of getting things out to the edge, and then they get burned with the pick 6 on the last series. It's tough. When you see kids, play so well and get to a state championship game, you hate for it to go this bad this quick.
4 receivers in the formation. Boswell had pressure again. Wow, a great one-handed catch for Andrew Montemayor, totally covered by the defensive secondary, and he takes it to the turf for a big gainer for the Mountaineers.
I think it's coming back, though. That's the unfortunate part about that. It's too bad. You look at the offensive lineman for Mount Vernon, they're standing back at the line of scrimmage.
Oh, just when it's not your day, it's not your day, man. And you get a big play like that.
Great throw, great catch. You know, Mount Vernon's going to be 40-0, but Boswell throws a nice ball. Montemayor's a good athlete. Robinson's had some flashes.
On the offense. Repeat first down.
So that'll back him up here. 1st and 17 now after the penalty, and that beautiful pass down the middle from Ty Boswell to Andrew Montemayor goes for naught. Four receivers in the formation again here. This time the handoff to Robinson. They'll try and run off the left side of the line. A little stretch play to the near side of the field. Pick up 3 or 4 yards, and the clock continues to wind here. Houchin, along with a couple other spoof hounds in on the stop. Tyler McGarry was there.
That 3-man front, and really, they've done a good job of holding up the offensive line and letting those linebackers flow.
Fake the jet sweep, delayed handoff this time to Robinson, goes straight north and south. He picks up another 3 yards, but just not getting the big chunk plays that Maryville has gotten through the first 2 quarters here. No big yardage on the ground. Robinson, 9 carries for 21 yards. Boswell's hit 4 different receivers here in the first half. Another run for Robinson here. He tries to dance around one tackler, cut it back to the inside. He'll get tackled after another 2-3 yard gain, and that'll bring up 4th down. Now there's 38 seconds on the game clock, and they haven't started the play clock just yet, and it does. So they'll have to punt this one away, but they'll be able to punt it away with only about 12 or so seconds remaining, and a chance for them to just use up as much time as they want here. Maryville, of course, Deion's going to be more than happy just to take the punt, the return, and take a knee.
Yeah, I'm sure Tom Cox does not want to give any time at all to Maryville to have one chance to score one more touchdown.
Mount Vernon will take the timeout here before the delay of game penalty. We told you about Tom Cox. He coached Mount Vernon to their last state championship appearance back in 1982. They lost in that game 37-0 to Valley Catholic, who we will see a little bit later today. So Tom goes from Mount Vernon to Webb City, and Tom Cox was the last head coach before Webb City hired Jerry Keel, the architect of what is now the dynasty that is Cardinal football down in Webb City. He leaves Webb City, goes to Ozark, and then goes for 24 years into the insurance business in the Mount Vernon area. They ask him to come back and help with the junior high football team, and somehow he rebuilds this program and gets them back to the spot where he left them, a state championship, but from 82 to 2017. Fair catch called for at the 43-yard line.
Well, the guy who was, he's the guy who left Webb City after 1 year, and then Jerry Kill comes in and turns them into a dynasty. He said that he thinks he's responsible by leaving. They
Absolutely.
got Jerry Kill.
Absolutely. I think Tom's right. It was a selfless act.
Yeah, and first time I've ever talked with him, but you know him, and he's just I asked you after we got the phone, I was like, is he really that nice? And you're like, oh no, he is that good of a guy.
He is absolutely, genuinely one of the good guys in high school football in the state of Missouri, but his team is down big. 40-0 our score. We will step aside. 20 minutes of halftime coming your way next on Misha.tv. Maryville leads Mount Vernon in the Class 3 championship.
And we welcome you back inside Furrow Field. And we welcome you back inside. Let's take a listen to, I believe this is.
Welcome back to Faroe Field, everybody. Halftime in the Class 3 championship between Maryville and Mount Vernon. Take a moment now to enjoy the Mount Vernon Mountaineer Marching Band as they perform here at halftime in Columbia.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Mount Vernon Marching Mountaineers. The Maryville Marching Spoop Hounds are under the direction of Nathaniel Waymeyer, Jeremy Krug, and Kylie Mackey. The band is under the field direction of drum major Lydia Mitchell. The band will perform Uma Thurman, Paint It Black, and the School Fight Song.
Halftime rolls on here in Columbia now. We listen live to the Maryville Marching Spoof Hound Band. They just got done with the fight song, and they continue their performance here at halftime.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Maryville Marching Spoof Hounds.
Great performances by the Maryville and the Mount Vernon marching bands here at halftime in Columbia. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll run you through the first half statistics and get you ready for the third quarter of play as Show Me Bowl 2017 rolls on here on Misha.tv, a proud partner of the NFHS Network.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
All right, this is Adam, take 2. Mark?
I guess.
I go like this.
The best part about playing football in Texas has to be the reaction from the community.
I want to encourage others to play volleyball or choir because you get to experience new things and do stuff that you've never done before. My reason why is passion.
My reason why is pride.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life. Just a reminder, kids who participate in high school activities tend to go a little farther than those who don't. Take part. Get set for life.
Almost ready to start the third quarter of play here. Back to work on Misha.TV, Corey Riggs and Dion Clesso, and look at some of the first half numbers, and the numbers always tell the story, Dion. 2 first downs for Mount Vernon in the first half. They mustered 25 offensive plays for 72 yards. That is in stark contrast to Maryville's 40 plays, 332 total yards of offense. Each team had a turnover, but boy, Eli Dowis, 9 carries, 133 yards and 3 touchdowns. Houchin, 94 yards and a touchdown. Jacob Reuter, 47 yards and a touchdown. And the ground game just pretty much did what it wanted to in the first half for the Spoof Hounds.
Yeah, really just everything that they wanted to do, they did, which is really kind of funny because of that first series, they didn't play very well. Then they get a roughing the kicker that gets that drive alive, and they've taken off. And since that point, when you're averaging, you've run 40 plays, you're averaging more than 8 yards per play. Not 8 yards but per play. That's an average. So, I mean,
even my meager education can figure that out.
They taught that kind of math down in Southwest Missouri that you could figure that out.
They did. Eli Dowis is averaging 15 yards a carry. Reuter's averaging 9.5 a carry. Atwell, 7.5 a carry. And poor Tyler Houchin just averaging 7 yards a rush so far here for the Spoof Hounds, as both the teams are finishing up their halftime warm-ups. Dion, we're going to start this game with the second half with a running clock here, 40-0 our score. The only time the clock will stop is on scores, timeouts, and for an injury if we have one, and hopefully we don't. If you're Tom Cox, what are you telling this team coming out at halftime that looks up at a 40-0 mountain to climb to just try and get back into the game?
Well, I think the first thing you tell them is, hey, go out there and play with pride, and let's put together a drive. Start with that, and then just build from there. I mean, 40-0, can you come back from that? Probably not. The numbers say that's close to impossible.
Those are long odds.
Especially with a running clock. I mean,
what do you do defensively, though? You've seen this Spoof Hound team.
Well, the few times that they've been successful, they've just kind of guessed and shot gaps. The one problem with that is, with that kind of, veer look that they have, it's not easy if you miss the long gaps, because then you end up giving up big runs because they get into that second level. So, I mean, that's what you try to do. I mean, maybe you try and guess a little and see if you can get right on it and get them in that second and third and long. One thing is, Maryville's, they've thrown the ball just a couple times, and they look okay doing it. I mean, they had the one interception.
Will Walker, 2 of 4 with a pick and 35 yards.
That's the problem. They can play action out of what they've done now and get you, if you start guessing and running linebackers in gaps, that leaves the middle of the field wide open. So it's not an easy task by any means. you get the ball first if you're Mount Vernon, so that's a plus. But the last thing you can do is go in 3 and out.
You talk about this Maryville offense and it being kind of a veer-based look. Everybody knows Webb City runs that veer. This is not the same offense, though. When Webb City gets those running backs down in that split in those deep sets, and then they run the ball right at you. I have not seen a team this year that runs with the patience that the Spoofhound team does. We were talking off air about kind of the questions in the NFL about Le'Veon Bell, the great running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and how he seems slow, but he's a little slow. He's very deliberate, and he makes the right decision every time with which way to cut with the ball, and that's why he's one of the leading rushers in the NFL. All 4 of the backs that Maryville have featured have run the ball like that today.
Yeah, and you'll see them even with their hand on the back of a lineman, letting him, just kind of having a feel of a sense, where they're going to go, and the patience is amazing. But these guys are getting 5-6 yards deep without really being touched. And you talk about it's not a veer look. It's almost like a kind of a wing tee-ish thing they do with a little split back look. But they've had several different formations. But it's really kind of some wing tee concepts that are in there as well. And as we are into our 3rd game of the weekend, we saw a double quarterback for Lamar. We saw the veer for Webb City, and we've got a little wing tee here. This is football that was played 30, 40 years ago.
Long before you and I were calling football games.
They're spread. Mount Vernon's got the spread, and that's what you see a lot of teams now. But the teams that are winning are doing it by running the football, which generally this time of the year, because of the weather, is the way to go.
Time of possession in the first half. Mount Vernon actually eked out the time of possession stat. 12 minutes, 13 seconds for the Mountaineers, 11 minutes, 47 seconds for the Spoofhounds. How about this? On 3rd down, Maryville was 3 of 5. They didn't get to 3rd down very often. Mount Vernon 1 of 7 in converting 3rd downs in the first half. That will have to change.
That's a key stat right there. They weren't able to stay on the field long enough to keep that Maryville offense off the field.
Montemayor back deep to receive the kick for Nick Garner, the sophomore. Makes his way out between the hashes now. Making sure the officials and the players are set and ready to go here. Remember, stick around after the conclusion of this second half. We will bring you live streaming coverage of the trophy presentations for both the state runner-up team and the state champion here at the end of this Class 3 title game. So if you're watching us from home or from your phone at the mall, still trying to find a good deal after Black Friday, you can stick around and see the trophy presentation. As now it looks like we've finally got the right ball for Mr. Garner to kick with. I never know how I feel about this. Everybody gets their own ball. Kicker's got a ball. Quarterback's got a ball. You're not allowed to take air out of the ball unless you're Tom Brady.
Well, let's see what kind of energy Mount Vernon comes out with here in the second half after a real tough first half. We know Maryville's got plenty of energy.
Well, their fans of their student section up on their feet for the kickoff, fielded by Montemayor just across the 10-yard line. He has been electric on these kickoff and punt returns, and another good one as he started at the 10 and brings that one out across the 35-yard line. Another great starting spot for the Mount Vernon offense. Ty Boswell will bring his offense back out along with Sammy Robinson, Montemayor, and Chance Fenton out at the skill positions. They wait the play from the offensive side. Mount Vernon, if you're not familiar, down in Lawrence County, a population of a little over 4,500. Back to pack is Boswell. The rush is on, and he throws that one at the feet of Montemayor. Incomplete, and the clock will continue to wind here.
Well, that was kind of an interesting play. He had it out to the left, out in the flat here. He had a receiver, but it looked like he just wasn't confident enough to throw that ball all the way across from that far hash, and then he went to the short receiver out to his right. So
yeah, maybe a little gun shy, threw an interception that ended up being a pick six. just a few yards back of this position. Back in the first half, a 4-man defensive front for Maryville. And wow, just a great one-man attack that time for the Maryville defense, flying in, stopping Robinson that time. And it's Atwell that time on the tackle. The 1 on that jersey was wrinkled up. I couldn't tell if it was a 3 or a 1.
Well, and what he did there is he came up on the slot receiver, and as soon as he saw a run, he read it and just shot in there and got that tackle for a loss.
Atwell, the second leading tackler on the team behind Tyler McGarry, makes it 3rd and long here, 3rd down and 15. Double stack of receivers to either side. Man cuts his route inside. Boswell hits him in stride. They needed 15. They got about 12.
Well, that's a good little pitch and catch right there. Unfortunately, they were so far back after that last play, they didn't get the first down on it, but that's some confidence building there in midfield. Might as well go for it.
Montemare on the catch. His 3rd catch of the afternoon, and the Mountaineers will go it on 4th down. They fake the handoff to Robinson, a quick hitter, and they've got the first down yards. They just got to hold on to the ball. The Spoof Hounds on the tackle, Dion, just clawing at the ball, trying to knock it out. But a good job by Buttram to hold on, point to point on the end, and take it to the turf.
Well, that's a pretty good little set of plays there, back-to-back, just quick hitters out to the edge. And I think Maryville will give that up. I don't think they're
more than happy to just let the play develop in front of them, and Robinson gets knocked out of bounds after a pickup of 4 on first down. That was the 3rd Mount Vernon first down of the game. Dowis runs Robinson out of bounds. They've got 2nd and 5 with the ball on the 41.
And now they're trying a little pace here as well.
Speeding things up now are the Mountaineers. That one batted down at the line of scrimmage.
That time the D lineman just, instead of getting upfield too much, kind of held his spot, stayed in that passing lane, knocked the ball down.
Big number 75, that's the 6'5" senior, Jalen Sundell. Sundell knocks that one down, and they always coach you when you're one of those defensive linemen, one of the big guys up front. Hey, if you're not going to get to the quarterback, get those hands up. And that time it pays dividends as that one's knocked down. It's 3rd and 5 now here for the Mountaineers. They'll overload the right side. Boswell under center this time. They screen it out to Montemare. He makes one man miss and is going to be maybe a yard short. But of course, we already saw him go for it on 4th down when they were on the bad side of the 50-yard line.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see their punter the rest of the game.
Montemare here on the replay, tackled by Sundell. Also in on the stop that time was Jeff Stooksbury, a sophomore. Maryville rotating players in and out on that defensive front. 4th down and 1 here. Can Boswell get it across the line? It looks like they had a good surge. I think he got it.
Yeah, you know, they tried that one other time before and they had a legal procedure, but here it is. He just gets under center and just a little push from the center.
Boy, it's all going to determine, it's all going to be about the spot, partner.
I thought he got it easy, but that spot's...
All the guys in the white jerseys are pointing back the other way, and they may have held him up here. This Maryville defense on the season had one shutout, and it is just across. When you look at what Maryville's defense has done this year, they had shutouts against Lawson, 43-0 to open the season, and then they drubbed Cameron 63-0. They are trying to find their 3rd shutout of the year against these Mountaineers. 4 receivers to Boswell's right. He will bootleg to the near side. Pass on the run. He's got a man who beat the defender. He'd snuck into a soft spot in the zone behind him, but it could not be caught that time by Zach Jones. He's 5'11". He would have needed to be about 6'3" to get this one.
Well, the D-back had good coverage, and then he peeked into the backfield and gave the space there, and Boswell just couldn't drop that one in.
2nd down and 10. Clock nears the 6.5-minute mark here in a fast-moving 3rd quarter in Columbia, Missouri. Same formation again. This time Boswell, a little option run. He keeps it himself, Will only get about a yard on the carry as 4 Spoof Hounds met him quickly.
Yeah, good close there. And you're seeing a little different formation. They're getting under center. They're doing some different things.
Brought in by number 75, Jalen Sundell.
But now they're in their first kind of 3rd and long.
Sundell again up front on the stop. Stooksbury there as well, playing the defensive tackle and the defensive end positions respectively on the right side. 3rd down and 9 here. Boswell to the air. He's got a man, and they've got a first down. A great grab by Ethan Johnston and a late hit out of bounds will get them that much closer.
You know, they kind of chipped on the edges with those quick outs, and then here the guy goes a go route, gets up the field, big play, and then you tack on the 15 yards.
Dead ball. Personal foul. Late hit out of bounds.
That'll get them half the distance to the goal. Say, good job again by Boswell. He's got a nice touch on the ball. When he misses, it's not by much. They'll give it to Robinson, and Robinson is shut down on the 5-yard line.
You know, Mount Vernon's losing 40-0 to a Maryville team that's just, you know, got them up and down the field. But you can see why they won football games, especially late in the year. It's a good football team.
Jackson Sanders with another tackle for Maryville. 2nd down and goal. They get it out on the edge, fighting through. Look at the second effort and the dive for the touchdown. That time for Will Boswell. Ty Boswell to Will Boswell for 6, and Mount Vernon is on the board.
Well, I think those two have done that a little bit in their time, haven't they? That was a great run. He was stuffed right there, steps over the defender, and then dives in the end zone. Really great effort there on the touchdown.
Tyler McGarry brought him down, but he was able to reach out with the ball and break the plane. Jaden Buttram will come on to attempt the extra point, an all-conference kicker a year ago with 5 field goals on the season. Now a timeout.
Not sure if they had the tee out there or if they were set up. A little bit of confusion on that extra point.
Didn't know if they only had 10 men or if maybe they were thinking about doing something other than extra point. It looked like they were lined up for an extra point. They may want to go for 2, and we've seen some unique play calls on 2-point conversions today.
It's been the most exciting part of the game.
Mountaineer cheerleaders down on the near sideline here, trying to keep the crowd fired up after Mount Vernon gets their first score of the day. A 13-play, 64-yard drive. Took 6 minutes and 28 seconds, and it will effectively stop the running clock that we had played the first half of this 3rd quarter under as they get set up, and apparently he doesn't like that tee. Throw that all the way back to the 35-yard line.
And now somebody's running out late. A lot of confusion coming out of the timeout.
They've got plenty of time, 20 seconds on the play clock here, but I would say we are going for 2 now. Boswell up quick under center. That 4 wide receiver set up, and they fake one way and bring it back to a, is that a tackle eligible over there?
Yeah,
number 79, like. Caden Heisner, but the ball is knocked down incomplete. And you never know what you're going to see on the 2-point conversion, boys. They get it over, but the defense got over there in a hurry. Eli Dow is flying to the ball. I don't know that Caden Heisner's had the opportunity to catch a lot of passes, but a lot of pressure coming right at him as the ball got there as well. 40-6 our score now, Maryville on top.
Well, it was a good opening drive by Mount Vernon. Now the next question is, can they stop Maryville when they get the ball back? Because they haven't stopped them since that opening drive where they forced a punt and they roughed the kicker.
This is Maryville's 4th Show Me Bowl in the last 6 years. Spoof Hounds, and you know this as well as anybody, Dion, really had to fight through it this year. They lost the Midland Conference opener 24-0 to Chillicothe in week 3. They got really roughed up by Smithville 42-6 in week 7, but each time this coaching staff and this team responded.
Yeah, they bounced back after those 2 games and ended up beating Chillicothe in a district championship game to get that back, and really, since the postseason has started, they've just been outstanding.
Great kick all the way back into the Mizzou end zone. Buttram on the season had 17 touchbacks. That is his 18th, and that's a weapon that doesn't get talked about enough in high school football. If you've got a good kicker, and that kicker can put everybody in the end zone, and that starting position is going to be the 20-yard line every time, you are taking almost one phase of the game away. And not a lot of schools have that luxury.
No, it's if you've got a kicker who can flip field position, the same thing with a punter, a guy who can really get it going.
Mountaineers, good job trying to bottle up the run that time for Houchin. Prescott in on the stop. Houchin, though, always going forward. Short yardage that time. Gain of 2 as the clock goes under 5 minutes here in quarter number 3. 2nd down and 8 for the Spoof Hounds, who watched Mount Vernon get that 6-minute drive and get their first score of the day. So the shutout is off the board. See how the Maryville offense responds here. Another great run to the outside. Mountaineers shoving the runner out of bounds that time as Eli Dowis had the carry.
Well, and Dowis kind of there at the end got a little happy feet and was dancing a little too much. He does a good job of getting it back to the outside, and if he just kind of goes and noses up in there, he's probably going to get another yard or 2.
Montgomery and Boswell combine on the stop, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 6. Coach Matt Webb switching out some of the player personnel. 6th year now for Coach Webb as the head coach. Before that, he was at Southeastern Louisiana University for 7 years. 3rd down, there's that crisscross handoff, quarterback to running back to running back. The Mountaineers saw it enough in the first half, they were ready for it here.
Yeah, definitely a great defensive stand here. 3 and out. It's the first 3 and out they've had all day.
Well, this is everything we were talking about. What do you tell your kids when you're down 40-0 at halftime? This is all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Come out, put points on the board,
get a stop.
Send your defense out, get a good stop, and they're going to flip the field here and probably have pretty good field position after the punt. And they block it. For the 5th time in the postseason, the Mountaineers block a kick, and they're going to start from the 10-yard line.
I tell you, it looked like they had 12 or 13 guys out there because there were so many guys in the backfield. Maryville really got this block.
Robinson was out there, Javion Perry, and the special teams does it again. Coached by Kelly Beckner, they had blocked 4 kicks coming into this game, twice against Lutheran South. Mount Vernon blocked the Lancers' punt, once for a safety that was recovered by Andrew Montgomery. So Mount Vernon back in business inside the red zone here. Montgomery sees it slip through his fingers. They're going to say it's a forward pass and incomplete, but give credit to the Maryville defense. They were playing to the whistle. That could have easily been called a lateral and a live ball.
It kind of looked close. I mean, I think he was just a hair in front of the line, but man, that was.
Boswell on the day, 12 of 20 through the air, 100 yards and a touchdown for the Mountaineers signal caller. Trips to his left. They'll go up the middle to Robinson, and he finds enough room to wiggle forward for a yard or 2 on 2nd down.
Well, and like we said, I think the strength of what they've done has been on the edges. And when they've tried to go between the tackles with Robinson, he really hasn't had hardly any room there all day long.
3rd down to go here from the 9-yard line. Boswell clears out the backfield, fakes left, throws left, has a man, and he will be out of bounds, and the ball pops out as Ethan Johnston couldn't control it to the turf. Good defense that time by Maryville.
Yeah, and that throw just took him out of bounds here. Maryville had just enough coverage to kind of force him to throw that ball all the way to the edge.
Mount Vernon going to send their special teams out and try and get a chip shot field goal here. Thought they might go for it on 4th down. Instead, they'll give Buttram a chance for his 6th field goal of the season. Good snap, good hold. Jaden drives it through the upright for 3 more points for Mount Vernon. And just like that, it's 40-9 Maryville with 2:22 to go here in the quarter. We will step aside. More Show Me Bowl 2017 after this. Welcome back to Columbia, Missouri, everybody. Corey Riggs, Dion Clisso, Jim Powers, everybody here in the Faroe Field press box. Bring you live streaming coverage. Show Me Bowl 2017. This is the Class 3 championship game between Maryville and Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon was held scoreless through the first 2 quarters of play. They've scored 9 points to open up the 3rd quarter. Maryville on top 40-9.
Well, and the best outcome you could hope for if you're Mount Vernon, you've gone out and got some points on the board. Still a long way to go.
Buttram really rocked the last kick into the end zone for a touchback. This one fell short of the 20-yard line and nearly a 20-yard return, as bringing it all the way back out was Quentin Turnus, the senior. Nice return that time on a short kick by Mount Vernon.
Yeah, boy, we talk about patience. There was patience on that run back as well. Really let things develop in front of him. It's a mindset with the guys who carry the ball at Maryville.
Two backs behind Walker. A run that goes right, then comes back left. A wicked stiff arm and no gain on the tackle. And for the 3rd time today, we're going to have a penalty for a late hit.
Yeah, I think the defender comes in there just at the end and probably should just let up, and he slid in.
Mount Vernon has 2 really good drives with scores. Now that was a personal foul, and did I see a targeting?
Shot to the head.
It's a hit to the head penalty.
Does that give him the business? Spearing.
Well, it is a first down and 15 yards, no matter how you call it.
You don't hear the spearing that much anymore.
No. Such an emphasis now on trying to take the head and the helmet out of the game of football. Jim and I talked about this last week at Plaster Stadium in Springfield. As Maryville runs the ball on first down, will pick up 6 yards. I was out at a practice at Nixa High School a few weeks back, and I had never seen, have you seen these foam donuts that they have now? They kind of roll them across the field, and the players go to tackle them, and it's to teach them to shove their hand through one side of the donut and then wrap around the other and use their shoulder, not their head, to be the point of contact. Really a unique teaching tool that you're seeing coaches gravitate toward.
Yeah, and a lot of coaches have bought these, and they really think it's a better way to do it, because, you know, the reality of it is you didn't tackle with your head or lead with your head back in the day when you had no face mask. I mean, you didn't, and that's how tackling was. It was almost a rugby style thing, and we're getting back to that. And if you can play rugby without a helmet, you ought to be able to play football and not lead with that face mask and that helmet.
Give to the up back this time, breaks one tackle, then another. Down inside the 15-yard line. Almost 25 yards on the carry.
And again, the patience.
Another great run. This time it's Tyler Houchin again. Houchin and Dallas have combined now for over 250 of Maryville's 335 rushing yards. Dallas with 3 touchdowns, Houchin with 1, and they're back in the red zone here. Up the gut again and down close to the 5-yard line. They'll mark him back a couple yards behind that.
Yeah, majority of those yards have come between the tackles, and that's, we're talking about the running style and the patience, but that offensive line is getting these guys into the second level to the linebackers without really even being touched.
30 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Reuter again, this time the Mount Vernon defense is there to meet him. There'll be no gain on the play as they push the spoof hound runner back. Carson Dakin on the stop.
Really
that
sold
time.
out here in the middle. Gets good penetration right there and just blows the whole thing up.
And that was Luke McKenzie, a junior, that really kind of spearheaded the attack. And then you see 65 Dick, the senior, come in and finish it off. And that'll do it. We're through 3 quarters of play here at Faurot Field. Maryville leads Mount Vernon 40-9.
This event is brought to you by Olive Garden. Olive Garden is proud to be the official dining room of high school sports. With menu choices to please the entire family, as well as to-go and catering options, it's the perfect restaurant for your post-game dining. To find your nearest location or to order your meal online, visit olivegarden.com. This game is brought to you by Under Armour, maker of the world's best apparel, footwear, and accessories. Check out the full line of performance gear now at UA.com. Under Armour, I will.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
Welcome back to Como, everybody. Back to work as the Spoof Hounds are almost back into the end zone again. Dive play off the left side. They'll have the ball now just inside the 3-yard line. Will Boswell in on the stop that time for the Mountaineers. First and goal now from just outside the 3. 1 spin and 1 score. This time it's Reuter who works his way in for the score.
Yeah, another great push there, and he really just kind of waltzes into the end zone. And now Maryville's got the running clock again.
Reuter, 9 carries, 62 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the day. Nick Garner on to attempt the point after. Low kick, splits the uprights, and Maryville adds to their advantage. 47-9, our score, and the clock speeds back up again here in the fourth quarter.
Well, it's a good drive by Maryville there to kind of come out and answer after having that short 3 and out and the block punt.
You know, it was funny when I was doing my research trying to get ready for this game, looking at the championship game that Mount Vernon played in 1982 and then this one in 2017. And you know how many times you and I look down at the brackets and see undefeated teams in these things. In 1982, when the Mountaineers got to this game, they had 4 losses over the course of the season. This year they get back to the championship game again with an identical 4 losses. They played Valley Catholic that year. This year Valley Catholic played Lamar, another Big 8 team. Good return again here, man. The special teams for Mount Vernon. It hasn't translated to points on the scoreboard, but the special teams have been exceptional today.
Yeah, they've had pretty good field position on all these kickoffs, and they're really getting, 10, 15 yards untouched on these returns. Maryville's done a good job of closing down those holes, so they didn't get anything bigger than that, but that is one positive. Special teams was really a highlight for Mount Vernon.
And this is the type of thing you like if you're Tom Cox and you're a Mountaineer fan. That's a great return by a sophomore. That's Jagan Prescott, 5'9", plays wide receiver and safety, and obviously gets some minutes on the special teams. Quick hitter to the near side, finds Chance Fenton. He gets driven out of bounds after he picks up 3 yards.
That's really been the most successful thing they've done all day, are those little quick hitter outs. Of course, on the one big play down the sideline, they kind of went up and out and got that big hitter on the deep end.
Boswell has hit 6 different receivers today, and he goes up top and has a man down just short of the 40-yard line that time, and the Mountaineers are moving.
Well, and he stayed in there and took a pretty good hit on this when he got rid of the ball. And real patient. The receiver did a good job of coming back and making an adjustment on that ball.
Catch by Ethan Johnston, that time tackled by Brendan Peterson. Mount Vernon offense comes back to the near side. They hit Chance Fenton again. Fenton and Andrew Montemare now both with 4 catches on the day from Ty Boswell. Montemare 4 catches for 23 yards. Fenton now 4 catches for 33 yards.
Maryville had to call timeout. They were trying to run different position groups out there, and I think they had about 12 or 13 guys on the field. They couldn't get them off.
Well, they will take a timeout, and so will we with 8:09 to go in the 4th quarter. Maryville leads Mount Vernon 47-9 here on Misha.TV, a partner of the NFHS Network.
All right, this is Adam, take 2. Mark?
I guess.
I go like this.
The best part about playing football in Texas has to be the reaction from the community.
I want to encourage others to play volleyball or choir because you get to experience new things and do stuff that you've never done before. My reason why is passion.
My reason why is pride.
After the timeout, 8:09 to play here in this Class 3 championship between the Spoof Hounds and the Mountaineers. Maryville up big, 47-9. Mount Vernon moving, though, again, trying to stop that running clock here with another score. They'll send 4 receivers to the near side of the field. Boswell rolls that way, passes off his back foot again, and it's picked. That is a great interception. Up against the out-of-bounds marker, making the signal for the Quentin Turnus interception. And he gives you a little, I got this one right here.
Right, late off the back foot. Trying to get that down deep, and 2 guys there for Maryville.
Turnus, the second time today, Ty Boswell has been intercepted, 15 of 25 through the air, 2 picks and a touchdown, and 128 yards. And Maryville now, with this vaunted running attack, can just kind of slow the game down and see if they can't grind down this final 7 minutes here. And going to be some personnel into the game now that we have not seen a lot of. As that is only the second carry now for Mark Zahn. His second carry, he had 5 yards the first time.
Now's the time to get everybody a little bit of state championship experience if you're Maryville.
Now the officials stop the clock for 6:59, I believe an equipment issue for one of the Spoof Hounds. Maryville has one of my favorite traditions, and I don't know if it went on before Matt Webb got there, but I know it's gone on since, which is the last player introduced at every game brings out the American flag. and they'll put American flag stickers with the Maryville logo on their helmets, but only if they make it usually to this game. Kind of like Webb City in the Columbia blue pants.
Which I didn't realize until you told me yesterday that they only wear them in state championship games or big rivalry games. As someone from Kansas City who doesn't watch Webb City all the time, I usually see them in state championship games.
Thought that was the only pants they own.
Yeah, I thought those were their pants when they wore white pants last week. I was kind of like, huh.
Reuter on the carry that time. It'll be 3rd down and 2 with 6 minutes, 18 seconds to play in this one. The boys of Class 1 will be next. The Panthers of Monroe City, the Warriors of Valley Catholic, as Valley Catholic will look for an unprecedented 15th football state championship here in the state of Missouri. Another big run. They only needed 2 or 3 yards. They got that and change that time as they get Reuter out on the edge. Look at 44, just get the corner turned, get his shoulder pads parallel to the ground, and go over that time Prescott.
Well, that just put more bodies at the point of attack on that one, and you really saw some great blocking out by the receivers that really helped spring that into the second level.
Want to make sure while the Mount Vernon defense is out on the field that we talk about how this season is going to end for Will Boswell. Now, Boswell is only a junior. He came into today with 227 tackles. At half, he had already notched another 8.5 tackles. He will go down in the Misha record book as having the 2nd largest tackle total of any player in football history, as he is now nearing 240 tackles on the season.
That seems like a lot.
It does seem like a lot. And of course, our record book only has the records individually in Show Me Bowl, but I was told by Jason West and Amanda that the next player on the list, he would have had to have found about 50 tackles today to catch him. So that's not going to happen. But what a great individual accolade for Boswell, who's going to go down with the 2nd best tackle total in history in high school football.
Well, I know when we're doing the media all-state, that'll be a guy that's discussed.
I would think so. Couple of good stops for the Mount Vernon defense. It's 3rd down and 5 now. Zahn will bring it around the near side, get tripped up. He'll lose 2 yards. And it'll be 4th down here with 4 minutes to play.
Looks like Mount Vernon's called timeout.
Mount Vernon's going to go ahead and use a timeout here. Try and save time up against this running clock.
Timeout, green. Please put 410.
Timeout green is a little ironic in this one, but we'll take it.
Well, yeah.
Tell you what, Mount Vernon really has had a nice change of the way the offense has been able to run here in the second half. Now over 160 yards. 128 of that, Dion, through the air as they really kind of let Ty Boswell loose, and he found some nice targets downfield that were able to hold on and make big plays.
Yeah, and a lot of that was the quick out passing game, and he's really good at delivering that ball out there. And Montemayor has done a great job out there on the edges as well. And they've got some good athletes in space, and you can see why they were able to get to a state championship game with the way their offense plays. And their defense has played a little better in the second half, slowing Maryville down.
What I like is that double stack wide receiver formation that they do. And what you figured out now, if you're watching like I am, is all of a sudden that, hey, the first guy is just a blocker, and it's setting up a screen. And so basically you've got a screen to either side of the line. As now Maryville ran out, shifted formation twice, and then calls a timeout.
Trying to pull them off, I think, there and get it to 4th and short. And then maybe go for it, but I think.
And don't think any less of the Spoofhounds here, because this isn't trying to run up the score. This is trying to finish off the game.
Yes.
This is, if they could find their way to a 1st down here, they can probably wind this final 4:10 off the clock.
Yeah, with the running clock, you know, the thing about the running clock is, you know, I know over in Kansas it's 45 points. And in the 4th quarter, which
it's also 45 points in 8-man, if you didn't.
Yeah, well,
know.
45 points in 8-man.
Because I learned that last week.
In the ball game, you know what it does is it's less snaps the kids are out there playing, And less snaps means less chances that somebody get hurt, and it gets things over with a little quicker. I think it's a good thing. I know there's some people, like I said, on the Kansas City, on the Kansas side, there's a couple leagues that don't use it at all. And so they're out there forever.
Maryville now lines up in the punt formation. Mount Vernon's already blocked one. They were close there. That's a high, wobbly kick that won't even make it back to the 50-yard line.
The punter looked a little skittish on that.
Already had one kick block today.
Well, he kind of double clutched it and then just booted it off the side of his foot.
Well, that's why, honestly, I am a big fan of the teams now that have gone to the rugby-style kick, where you give a kid, and not saying that you want to fake it every time, but one, it looks like a fake because they start moving with the ball, so that keeps special teams a little more honest. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden you're running out, you're getting yourself a little room because the rush usually comes up the middle if you're going to get any penetration, and I just think it's a more effective special teams use now, and you see a lot more teams using it as Robinson gets into the second level of the defense and has 5 yards on first down.
Well, one of the things you can talk about the Maryville defense, they've really kept Robinson in check today, and here's just a little screen pass out there to get him out in space, and they've really forced Mount Vernon into a passing game.
Maryville uses their last time out here with 3:07 to go. Told you Class 1 is up next. After that, it will be the Class 5 championship game between Staley and Pattonville. No different than last week in the Class 6 game, a St. Louis versus Kansas City matchup. And well, I know in this press box they wouldn't have it any other way. We'll have broadcasters representing both sides of the state in that one, as Dion and Jim Powers will have the call of the Class 5 championship, what will be the final football game of the 2017 season here in the state of Missouri. And we will quickly jump into basketball. Wrestling and the other winter sports here is, well, I was going to say as the temperature changes, but it's 70 degrees in Columbia. What do I know? Mount Vernon nearing another first down here. Johnston with another catch. McGarry on the stop, and that ball right at the line to gain, just a little short. It's going to be third and inches. Shotgun snap back to Boswell. The ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage and will fall incomplete, and his intended receiver, Andrew Montemare, had fell down as well, running his route.
Yeah, they got a good upfield presence here. Hands up. We've seen two batted balls here in the second half. And they've got some tall defensive linemen, too, and that really helps.
Well, it's the second time today Jalen Sundell has knocked one down, and he's 6'5". That's a big post defender there coming off the edge. 4th and 1, and the Mountaineers fumble it. Maryville thinks they have the ball. Either way, it's the Spoof Hounds' ball, but I never saw an indication, so Mount Vernon stopped on 4th and short, and Maryville now will be able to hold on to the ball for the final 100 seconds of the Class 3 title game.
First down, Maryville.
There is no pace in their walk up to the line of scrimmage here, as they take a leisurely Saturday afternoon walk to what will be the final couple of snaps in the Spoof Hound season. They'll run it again to Zahn, who will get tackled at the 40-yard line.
Second down.
This Maryville Spoof Hound team that was the state runner to Monette a year ago, and you really had to wonder what they were going to come back with this year. 22 seniors on that team. Coach Webb told us they didn't play a good second half against Monette. They played today as flawless of a first half of football as you could. They had 3 bad offensive plays the first 3 plays of the game, and that was it. And now Coach Webb will send in a wholesale line change here and bring his seniors out for the final snap as the clock now is under 20 seconds. Maryville, who won it all in 1982.
Delay of game. Offense.
They'll take the delay of game penalty.
They're not even going to get snapped, I don't think.
With 3, with 2, with 1. And the Spoof Hounds claim another Class 3 championship. 1982, 2009, back-to-back in 2012 and 2013, and again in 2017, they are your Class 3 champions.
Outstanding season for both teams. Mount Vernon didn't go their way in the state championship game, but they've got to be happy coming off a 4-loss season, getting to the state title game. And Maryville really kind of makes up for what was somewhat of a disappointment last year when they fell to Monette in the state championship game.
Well, and you know, Tom Cox told us when we met with him on the phone that he remembers in that 1982 championship, they were just so happy to be there. You know that wasn't the case today. He was not going to let his team not be prepared. But, and I don't think it's an overstatement, Maryville, after you throw out that first 3 plays, played as flawless a first half of football as you can play. Rarely penalized, averaging 7, 8, 9 yards every run. And they were up 40-0 at the break. You can't do it any better than the Spoof Hounds did it in the first half.
And defensively they were outstanding as well in the first half. Really shut down the run game of Mount Vernon, turned them into a passing team. Got a turnover, pick 6, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, the Spoof Hound defense only allowed 72 total yards of offense in the first half. For the game, Mount Vernon ends up with 168 yards on 49 plays. Maryville, 407 yards of offense on 58 offensive snaps, 372 yards on the ground, led by Eli Dallas, 11 carries, 135 yards for 3 touchdowns. Houchin chips in 126 yards in a TD, and Jacob Reuter, 87 yards on 12 carries, 2 touchdowns. The running game just too much to handle today as the Spoof Hounds ran over and passed the Mountaineers on their way to their 5th state title in school history. Both teams lining up now. We'll listen in as the Faroe Field public address announcer today will announce the awards for the state runner-up and the state champs.
Class 3 championship game. First, for our runner-up team, the Mountaineers of Mount Vernon, finishing the year with a record of 10-5. Presenting all on behalf of the Bishop County Director Brett Soden of the Southwest District. Head coach Tom Cox is being presented the individual player medals. How about a nice round of applause for the 2017 Class 3 runners-up, the Mount Vernon Mountaineers. Now for our 2017 championship team, the Spoof Hounds of Maryville, who finished the year with a record of 13-12. Presenting awards on behalf of the Mission Board of Directors is Travis Dittemore of the Northwest District. Head coach Matt Webb is being presented the individual player medals. How about a nice round of applause for the 2017 Class 3 champions from Maryville High School, the Spoof Hounds.
12 seniors, a part of the football state championship for Maryville on a team whose motto has been for years now, tradition never graduates. And their tradition starts anew again here today in Columbia with a 5th state title. A great job all season long for Tom Cox and the Mountaineers and Matt Webb and the Maryville Spoof Hounds as both teams get a standing ovation from their fans.
Really great season for Maryville. And he joked that he looked in the Misha Misha Book and said that you didn't have to be undefeated when you got to the state championship game. And those kids really bounced back from those 2 losses during the regular season and really just got better and better every single week.
Mount Vernon finishes 2017 with a record of 10-5. Maryville. Win number 13 is a lucky one as it takes them to another Show Me Bowl championship. That'll do it for our first of 3 games today. For my broadcast partner, Dion Clisso, I'm Corey Riggs. The final score, Maryville victorious 47-9 over Mount Vernon. Stay tuned. We'll bring you live action from the Class 1 championship for Valley Catholic in Monroe City. After this, you're watching all the action of Show Me Bowl 2017 right here on Misha.tv.